does it mean to be a scientist? Today, we're going to talk about the 5 things we are going to need to be good scientists. The first thing we need to think of is a question, something we want to know more information about. Then we need to come up with a hypothesis, which is a guess about our question. The next step is our experiment, which is the fun part of the project where we try to figure out the answer to our hypothesis. The next step is observation, when we see what happened during our experiment and see if it helped us answer our initial question. And the 5th and final step is our conclusion, where we either draw a picture or write about what we learned during these 5 steps of being good scientists.
For our science experiment today, we're going to talk about things that sink and things that float. Something that sinks, we're going to use it in, we'll say this is a cup of water, and we're going to say that something that sinks would go to the very bottom of that cup. Okay? Can you say the word sink? Good. This says float. An object that floats, we're looking at a cup of water, would stay at the very top of that water. Do you see that? It's not going down. It's staying right at the top where that water line is. Today for our experiment, we are going to be looking at household objects that we have and see what sinks and what floats. When we talked about the 5 things that a scientist need, one of the things was to question. So our question today is, what sinks and what floats, and what does that mean? Number 2 is our hypothesis. Which of these items that I found at home are going to sink and which of them are going to float? Number 3 is our experiment, which is when we're going to put the objects in the jar of water to see which ones sink and which ones float. Here we go. For our experiment today, I have pulled out a few household objects like a pen, an eraser, a little blue cowboy, Optimus Prime, a balloon, a Lego, a wine cork, and a little bottle of sanitizer. I also have this clear jug that we're going to put these objects in to see if they sink or float. Okay, so here we have our jar of water. The water line is right here. You should be able to see the difference. This is the water and this is empty. Okay, the first thing we are going to put in is our Lego. Do you think it's going to sink or float? What is your hypothesis? All right, we're going to drop it in. Let's see what happens. Wow. Do you see how that is sitting right on top of that water? So that means our Lego floats. Were you right? The next item I'm going to put in is this little eraser. Okay, it's pretty small in my hand. What is your hypothesis? Will it sink or float? Let's find out. Wow, I definitely thought that that eraser was going to float on top because it was so light, but look, it sunk to the bottom of the water. Wow. The next object we are going to put in our jar of water is this wine cork. To me, it feels pretty light. But I don't know, do you think it's going to sink or float? What is your hypothesis? I think it's going to float. Let's find out. Oh, there it is sitting right on top. Do you see it? There it is. So that wine cork floats. Okay, the next thing I'm going to put in is Optimus Prime. He is made out of metal and he is definitely heavy. Do you think he will sink or float? What is your hypothesis? All right, let's find out. Are you ready? Oh, he went all the way to the bottom. See him on the bottom? So Optimus Prime sinks. The next items we have left are our pen cap, our blue cowboy, our sanitizer, and our balloon. I think because both of these items are blue, I'm going to put them in at the same time. Our pen cap and our blue cowboy. Do you think they will be the same or different? Will they both sink? Will they both float? I don't know. Let's find out. So you should be able to tell our blue cowboy is at the very bottom, so it sinks. And our pen cap is right here, floating on top of the water. Cool. We have 2 objects left. Let's see what happens with our sanitizer. Oh, that sort of bounced to the bottom and came back up to the top to float. You want to see it again? Ready? So it went to the bottom and came back to the top to float. That was interesting. I guess it was heavy, but then it really was something that can float. And then our last item is our little balloon. And our balloon just floats. See, I can't even push it down into the water. So our balloon floats. Float. So the items that today were sinking were our little blue cowboy, our eraser, and Optimus Prime. The things that were floating, staying on top of the water, were our balloon, our pen cap, our cork, and our Lego. So the hypothesis that you made, your guesses, what you thought would happen, were they right? Were they wrong? What else could you try to use at home to see if it sinks or floats? I don't know. I can't wait to see what you guys come up with.